just to show you, we have very cold temperatures, and my check engine light came on my GLE 43 2017. So this is the last day we have the car, and we're going to get rid of it tomorrow actually, so I'm hoping that this light will turn off. I'm pretty not impressed right now with the vehicle and its cold weather performance. I know a lot of vehicles don't perform well in the cold, but this one is not made for the cold whatsoever. Good morning, everyone. Today is a big day for Alexa and I. So we are, as I get us all set up here, we are actually going to sell the Mercedes-Benz, our GLE 43. So I'm making this video here kind of a final thoughts video of our ownership, and this will go up after we purchased our new vehicle, which is a 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, which I'm sure to have plenty of videos of that. But I want to give our final thoughts about the vehicle. We've had this now for about a year. It's been 11 months actually, and it turned out to be a shorter ownership experience than what we wanted to have it be. And really, when I was going to recommend this vehicle to Alexa here, we originally wanted a Durango RT Tow and Go or a Grand Cherokee L with the Hemi, but those vehicles are just too expensive, and for that reason we just couldn't afford them. And the 4xe wasn't in the picture yet at that time because we just weren't quite ready for that. And after our experience here with the Chevy Volt, as I'm talking apparently very loud, I'm talking very loud apparently.
It just echoes the front. It's okay.
It echoes in the car. Apparently this Mercedes doesn't have enough soundproofing in it. But anyway, before we bought our Volt and experienced what a hybrid would be, we just weren't ready for the 4xe experience yet. So we wanted a Grand Cherokee that wasn't the V6, wasn't the Pentastar V6, because that was not an engine that we wanted. We had an experience in our Dodge Journey that wasn't great, and we didn't feel like we needed that. Plus, it's not very fast. We wanted a faster vehicle that had capability to it as well. So we were settled on a V8. But with those prices being essentially too expensive for us by about $10,000, we found this gorgeous 2017 GLE 43 with the 3-liter V6, the bi-turbo engine with an AMG spec on it. So I read a lot of reviews. I did about 3 weeks of research on this vehicle before we purchased it, because it had been sitting at the dealership for about 3 months without any sort of action on it. So essentially here, I found really not much issue with the vehicle on the forums from ownership or on YouTube, nothing like that. And we knew going into it, we settled that yes, the B services are going to be a little bit more expensive, A service, very expensive, but we were fine with it. And this really didn't need much to it at 53,000 miles when we bought it. We got it for a screaming price at $28,000, and we felt like we got a good deal. Now, our interest rate wasn't great, even with excellent credit, almost 800 credit at 9.49%, so not great. And that's also another reason why we're changing, because the insurance cost on this for us in northern Wisconsin is about $150 a month, I want to say off the top of my head. So switching to a Grand Cherokee is of course going to lower that. So we're happy that we're getting rid of the car, although I'm trying to keep a straight face right now because my passenger is covering both her ears, and I find it...
I'm reading right now, and you talk loud, so I'm just trying to focus on my book. I'm sorry.
Nice. So she's trying to read. Anyway, we expected to own this car a lot longer than what we did, because everything I read was very positive on the forums, and we didn't mind, like I said, we didn't mind paying the extra price for oil changes. And honestly, the dealership is an hour and a half away from us, so it's not that bad. It's not that far of a drive to get there. But the tower tumbled when we had to pay $4,000 for repairs, which I did bring the repair sheet with me here, and it was very, very, very expensive. I need to find the right one, and here it was. So essentially, we needed the sealant for the timing covers. Both of the seals needed to be resealed. Engine oil, of course, too. And I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to look at what else. It was, don't worry, this car has self-driving. There was another seal here for the closing cover for the coolant area here. It's the left valve cover has a significant oil leak. Advise complete reseal of left cylinder head covers. So that's the other issue. So that was another, what added up to being $21.95, and it was $4,000 total was that bill for the day. So it was a lot of money, and I made videos on this before too. But it was a ton of money that we needed to pay, and that was kind of the breaking point of the ownership of the vehicle. Because at the time it had about 60,000 miles on it, and we only put about 7,000 miles on of our ownership experience. So it really, we were okay paying $2,000. That was about our max limit, which what the original issue was, the timing covers needed to be resealed at 60,000 miles, and that was about $2,000, which we were okay paying that. But $4,000 was just too much for what this car is. You know, you're not dealing with a 63 series AMG, you're dealing with a 43 series AMG, which, don't get me wrong, is still a ton of fun, but the power is obtainable and the experience is obtainable from other brands. Not to mention the gas mileage isn't that great in this either. It's very similar to my parents' Durango RT Tow and Go that they have. It's very, very, very similar to that. Around 18 combined is what we're finding. Right now on the highway, we're getting about 21 to 22, so not terrible, but in the city, which is where we do most of our driving, it's not great. So we weren't very impressed with that because we don't take this car on road trips. This is the second road trip that we've taken it on since our purchase down in Rochester, which is about 3 hours away. Now we're driving 4 hours to our destination. We don't drive this car a lot. In a normal year, if you were to average out our miles, it would be less than 10,000 miles, so it's not getting drove very much. So we just decided to move on, and to find a vehicle in that $30,000 to $35,000 price range right now that offers the same performances. You know, you can go to Genesis now, you can go to Jeep, you can go to Lexus with an older model, you can go to Acura. I mean, there's just so many different brands out there. Ford with their Ford Explorer ST. There's so many different brands out there that offer the same performance. Lincoln with their Aviator, as this AMG 43 does. So we had to do some looking around, and ultimately we were decided last year when she upgraded from her Journey that we wanted to get a Grand Cherokee, the new WL, or the Durango RT Tow and Go. So we pretty much decided on one of those two vehicles, which still, the Durango, even buying a 21 model with lower miles, is still not obtainable for us because they hold their value very well. But the 4xEs, with all the problems that they've had, and this one was actually a manufactured buyback that we found with 3,000 miles, was easily attainable at $33,500. So not that bad. But to my point, getting back to the original topic here, our ownership experience has ultimately been good with this vehicle, but again, with any German car, you have to not be afraid to pay the cost of repair. And that's where these cars get you, because this was an $84,000 vehicle before taxes when it was brand new in 2017, and it was highly depreciated. So essentially, at the end of the day, because that depreciation happens so fastly with these vehicles, so fast, you need to factor in about oh, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000 of repair costs, I would say, over the upcoming years, 3 to 4 years. That makes up for the fast appreciation of these vehicles. They're just so expensive to maintain. And we must have got a bad car, possibly. I mean, the check engine light is on now. We've had some uber cold weather in northern Wisconsin lately, down to what feels like 20 to 30 below, with nighttime temps down around 10 below. So yesterday, when I was moving this car to the shop to wash it and get it ready here to trade, the check engine light came on, and I took it over to my buddy who's a mechanic. He ran the code quick. It was ice in the throttle valve, and I let it sit in the shop overnight. I keep the shop at 65 degrees. So clearly it's a sensor or something that is faulty. So now I'm hoping that, a day before we go to get rid of this vehicle, the check engine light comes on. I'm hoping that maybe it'll turn off when we get gas again after we run it for a while, but I don't know. So again, it's just little things with these vehicles that cost you money. And after that dealership experience, where it was a great dealership experience, don't get me wrong, they treated me great, but I spent 9.5 hours at the dealer, and it was $4,000. I had to drive an hour and a half out there. I had to drive an hour and a half home, so I had to take off of work, which ultimately ended up being almost a 13-hour day. It was a 13-hour day with drive time. It was way too long. That's just too long to spend at the dealership. And they offered me a loaner car, but I'm too far away to drive home and drive back. It doesn't make sense when at any point they could have called me and the car would have been ready for pickup. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And ultimately our experience has been positive. If you really want to buy one of these cars, I'm not telling you not to buy it. You should buy this car and experience it. It's been a great vehicle. It's been fun. It's capable. You can tow 7,200 pounds with it. I tow my 5,000 pound boat, my huge Ski Nautique inboard boat with this, no problem. It's got plenty of power. It's very fun. It's very responsive. The build quality is great as well. This is by far the age of Mercedes vehicles where the build quality was the best. On the interior, on the exterior, everything just works on this vehicle. It's dependable. You're going to get into it and it's going to start. Is it reliable? Well, I don't know, but it's never left us stranded, so it's been dependable for us, and everything works when you need it to. And the comfort of this is second to none. It's been the best in terms of interior comfort. It's been the best vehicle we've ever bought. I've owned a lot of new vehicles and old vehicles, but this is by far the best. I mean, ultimately 90% of our ownership experience has been positive, but at the end of the day, if you don't have creature comforts like a heated steering wheel and cooled seats for the price of the vehicle brand new, and it's not a very good cold weather car, I mean, under 0 degrees Fahrenheit, it's not a good cold weather car. It's tough to start, and I had an E550 experience, a 2011, that was basically the same thing. Great build quality, everything like that, but just not a cold weather car, and we need that cold weather car for the winter time. You deal with November, December, January, February, March of cold weather, and you need a car that's going to be reliable for that. So at the end of the day, it really pains us to get rid of this car because it's so fun to drive. It's so capable. You get the experience of driving a Mercedes, and it's an AMG car. It's great, but we need to make the change, and that change is happening today. So without further ado, that's our final thoughts on the car. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching these GLE 43 videos along with us in our ownership journey. And hopefully our next car is going to last longer than this one did.